You need to look here.
Not here,
No.
here. Oh, it's really hard to not look there.
Hi guys.
Hello.
I forced my amazing roommate Bella to make a video with me.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for coming. So I think we can start, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And it's going to be really embarrassing because I never made a video in English
And I never made a video.
in general.
It's a new thing for both of us.
Bella, do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Isabella. I'm a film major, and I am Nelly Being's roommate. Born in Brazil, I lived there until I was 15 years old. I really wanted to study abroad since I was 12, and then my dad said no. So I insisted for 3 years with, you know, PowerPoint presentation and just being really annoying. And then at one point he was like, okay, this is too much. You can go. So I went and I studied a year in Babylon, Long Island, in the state of New York. And then the pandemic happened and I came back to Brazil. I stayed there for 6 months. And at this point I was already applying to Wild Arts Academy, and then I got in.
And she met me.
It was the worst moment of my life. Russians?
Shit.
No. A little bit more closed in the beginning. Like, they're more serious than Americans and Brazilians. It takes them a little bit more to open up. Also, I don't think that they say that they like you if they don't actually like you. Because I feel like Americans and Brazilians were so nice that sometimes like we say I love you without even like meaning it. Then Brazilians to Americans. Brazilians are very touchy. We hug, we kiss. I feel like we're more touchy than Americans. And then sometimes they're a little bit like, oh, then maybe this person is giving me a sign. But it wasn't a sign.
Are you projecting, Bella?
Americans are more open than Russians, but Brazilians are even more open than Americans. So like Russians and Brazilians are like two extremes. And somehow it works. I like New York more than LA, but I didn't like the experience that I had in New York more than I like the experience that I have in California. Because when I was in Long Island, it was a public school. It did have a little focus on art more than the school that I had in Brazil, but it wasn't like an art school. And it wasn't a boarding school. I was living with a host family and I never really felt at home there. And this school, since the first day, I just feel like I belong here. And I just really found like really amazing friends and people that like the same things that I like. COVID.
Good starting.
We were both on Zoom. Nelly was in Russia, I was in Brazil, no one was in California. She just seemed very friendly. And then we talked for like 5 minutes and Nelly's computer died. But we exchanged our phone numbers. So we started texting for that day for like 3 hours. And then my impression was really good because like all of our favorite color, favorite TV shows, favorite films, they were all the same. And then Nelly just said like, do you want to be roommates? And I was like, oh my gosh, sure. The actual first time that we actually met was on campus 6 months after that. And I got here one day before her, so I slept alone the first day. And then she said, oh, by the morning I'm gonna knock on your door and then we can like go get something to eat. And then she knocked on my door and she had her little vlog camera. And then we started talking. I don't even remember, it was just so natural. I love you. I love you too. We're very different, of course. Like, you're white. Even the things that we know that we don't agree with, we still talk about them because it's like the exchange of ideas, and it was always very easy to do that.
We never fight because of different opinions.
And it's like actually really fun to live with someone that is not like the same as you. We get each other's jokes, and that's the best part.
Then I came to winter break. My mom told me that she feels like it's not home to me anymore. I just came to visit and my actual home in Idlewild now. And I kinda came back to Idlewild and I felt it.
It feels really right to be here. Let me pull up my college essay and then I can open it and like read it to you. Because I've always been very connected to stories all around me, in books, in cartoons, in films. And I think that I've always been a very like imaginative person. Anytime that I'm in the car or every time that I listen to a song, I always imagine a little story with it. Every time. And every different song, I kind of already have like a little script in my head that I go through when I listen to it. And then I started like writing more. I remember when I was 14, I had no idea what I wanted to study. I just really knew that I liked stories. And then my dad did this like little quiz with me. If you could choose anything to be, doesn't matter how like impossible it was, what would you be? And then I said like a film director. And then I was like, yeah, but that's so far away, that's so impossible. And then I was like, well, maybe it's not that impossible, maybe it's not that far away. Like, why am I telling myself that it's so impossible? And then I started like researching how to study abroad because we don't really have film in Brazil. That's when I went to Long Island, and then I started studying art more, and I was like, no, this is definitely what I want to do. And then I came to the film department at the school. Yes. When I was in New York, it was a really nice experience sometimes. Oh my god, Ayla.
This is Ayla. She
Hello.
played in my movie. Amazing actress.
Aww. So my experience in New York was really nice sometimes and then really bad sometimes. First of all, because I was 15 and I was alone. Like, it was my first time getting out of Brazil. English wasn't my first language. I had classes in English, but not for a long time. It was like really terrifying in the beginning, and then of course it got better.
Then she met Nelly.
Getting to the school, I didn't even consider applying. I felt that I wasn't enough of an artist to be at the school, because of course I was into film, but I've never, like, you know, had the opportunity to actually, you know, use a film camera. Watching my film in Times Square was really nice. Actually get to go to New York City again when I was older. It was like closing a circle because of COVID, and like I changed host families, and then I just kind of like went home and the classes were online. I never got to say goodbye. 2019 Bella. And then when I went back, I felt like I was closing something. I'm going in the right path.
I shared this moment with you.
She was there. Any films that have both comedy and drama together. I really like the Grand Budapest Hotel for that. All of my favorite films and all of my favorite books have this in common. The world where the characters live feels like it's lived in. It doesn't feel like the story only started when I opened that book, or like when I hit play on that film. They were already living there with these issues. I'm just watching that little part of their lives, and then when the film ends or when the book ends, they're still there living their life. I wouldn't say for my whole life. I do want to go to college here because this is where the film industry is, and I do want to work here for a long time. But if I do have the opportunity to visit other countries or to work in other countries, I would totally go. I don't see myself being like 50 and living in this country, and I don't see myself being 50 and living in Brazil either. We'll see how it goes.
I'm sorry, but
I'm a senior and I applied to 20 colleges. My plan is to at least get somewhere.
not living under a bridge.
This is the plan B. And
Bye.
if I don't get in anywhere, there's always a bridge in LA that I could go to.
We're sharing books, right?
My favorite film is kind of always changing, but it's probably Jojo Rabbit right now. It's a film about realizing that your values were wrong, learning through friendship that there is more to life what you thought there was, and that sometimes you should be more open to the different. Sounds rich for sure, because she's a fucking poet. The metaphors that she says, it's insane.
And Ben.
Bon Iver.
Because we have a song with Taylor Swift together.
No. It's either the last book of Throne of Glass or it's Turtles All the Way Down. The last book of Throne of Glass, because it's like the closure of 7 amazing books. Of course it's a fantasy book and none of that is true, but it is very much based in problems that we have in the real world in a different way and in a more fun way, because you know there's dragons. So Turtles All the Way Down is because it's basically a book about this girl. She's really scared that she's not the main character or the own author of her life, that all of the things around her are controlling what her life is, or like who she is. And then it's also a book about realizing that no, that's not true, that she is of course the result of all of these things, but also she's the one taking control of her life, and there's no way to separate who you are from the things that you have to do. It's just more like accepting that all these things come together and make who you are. My first film is called Midnight Art Class, and it's about this very rebellious, stubborn teenager breaking into an art gallery because he got challenged by his friends to steal a painting, and he does it in the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night,
in my dreams. And then once he gets there, he gets caught by the janitor, and then just like this kind of conversation about what the real meaning of art is starts between them. And once I came to campus, we started working, like looking for my crew members, and I was looking for a director of photography. And one day I just kind of looked to the side and I was like, huh, Nelly could be my director of photography. And then Nelly Bean was my best decision, and she was my director of photography. The actual shooting day started. We're supposed to have a testing day, which for external reasons and circumstances that we cannot control do not happen.
You can tell it.
Oh, okay, so we had the protest in the school. As the good citizens that we are, went to the protest because we're fighting for our rights as students and as women. We didn't have the testing day, and then we just kind of like show up on the shooting day, not knowing a lot of things. And I found out that I didn't know all these things in the edit, but we did it, and it's a film that I'm really proud of. I realized that if you have a good story, it doesn't really matter if like your sound is kind of shit, because it kind of was,
or if cinematography is super bad.
My time to hate you. All these things, of course they do matter, but if you have a shit story and you have like all these things being amazing, it's still gonna be a shitty film. And then my second film, we are in the pre-production process of it, and it's called A Cheater Like Me, and it's basically about two teenagers breaking into the school. We can see a pattern here. Two teenagers breaking into the school to delete some evidence that they cheated on a test, because they need that test to like go to the university of their dream. It's once again about like these two very different people that don't really know each other having to be together to delete the footage and like go to college. But the message that I want to pass through this is that these two people were very alone and very close to everyone else around them, and then for this time that they have to spend together, they kind of learn how to open themselves up again to new experiences and new people and to life again. Even if nothing works and they don't go to the university of their dreams, they still have more things important in life. There's new friendship that came between them. Who do you think is my director of photography?
I have no idea.
She's going to be my GP again. And I'm really happy about it.
My film. I never told what it is about. I hate my English. I'm so nervous. I'm nervous. It's my channel. My movie called No Tears in This Household, and it's a story about two siblings who were really close to each other in childhood. They were growing together, and during the teenager years they kind of start losing this connection with each other. And my film represents one scene in their life when everything went wrong. And if right now my main character Lizzie is not going to talk to Mark, she's going to lose him, maybe for forever. And she's doing this first step for this really heavy, hard conversation with him. Because usually the most terrifying, scary part, this first words, when you don't know what to say. She also confused. She don't know what to do. She don't know how to start. It was really healing movie for me because I was going through my own story. It's a movie dedicated to my brother. My actors were amazing. Elu, who was here, she played my main character Lizzie, and she did amazing.
On the set, the first time that they run the scene, she came down the stairs yelling, goosebumps. Everyone knew the script and knew the lines, but once they performed it, it was like so moving.
I'm editing it right now.
Baka.
Bye. You know, let's like YouTubers.
1, 2, 3. I was waiting for people to walk by.
And we're matching today.
Was it on purpose?
No. Yes. No.
No?
Yes.
That's a secret I'll never tell at XOXO.